Hello, my name is Param from Talend, and in today's short demo, I'm going to show our integration with Salesforce in Talend Open Studio and Talend Integration Suite. Now, today's demo is really geared to those of you who are familiar with Open Studio, and it's just to show our Salesforce integration. For those of you who are not familiar with Open Studio or are new, please go to our website after this demo and find more information there. Talend Open Studio provides a whole series of connectors that enable data integration around Salesforce. We actually dedicated a specific category to our Salesforce connectors. Here you can see connectors for input and output to Salesforce, as well as bulk loading connectors. And we also have more sophisticated connectors to get maybe just change data from Salesforce in CDC sort of applications. Now, these set of connectors have allowed our users to apply Talend in a wide range of applications around their Salesforce integration. A common use case around a user is actually users who are trying to migrate data into Salesforce. Now, these might be users who are actually new to Salesforce and they want to migrate data from an in-house CRM application or maybe another commercial CRM application or just even flat files or Excel files into Salesforce. But actually, the majority of our users are those who already have a Salesforce system in place and they just want to integrate the data or synchronize that data inside Salesforce with another application such as their data warehouse, MDM, or any other sort of application they might have. Okay, now let's jump into the demo. I'm actually going to start at the metadata layer. At Talend, we've actually dedicated a specific metadata object specifically used for connecting and integrating with Salesforce. Here, our users can create a Salesforce connection and actually use the connection to retrieve all their modules and objects that they have inside Salesforce. So I'm going to give my connection a name. Go next, and here I just have to give it my username and password. And keep in mind, because we use the Salesforce API, the passwords is the GUI password that you use plus the security token that you've received from Salesforce. So I'm going to check my connection, make sure everything's okay. Now, after the connection is created, I can use that connection to retrieve all my modules. So I'm going to say retrieve Salesforce modules. Now, the wizard is going to bring in all my predefined Salesforce modules as well as any custom objects or modules that I've already defined inside my Salesforce. Now, from here, to use these objects and import those into Talend is just to check the modules that you want and click Finish. Now, the tool is actually going to import all the columns that you have inside that module. For example, if we go to the accounts module that we just imported, go into the columns, you can see all the predefined Salesforce columns as well as any custom columns that you might have defined. Now, from here, I can use my metadata to integrate that with any other connector that I have available in Talend. For example, if I want to read my accounts and write that into a MySQL table, I can just drag and drop the accounts metadata, choose that I want a Salesforce input connector, and on the output side, I'm going to search for my MySQL output connector. So place that onto my job and connect these two together. Now, to do a little bit more technical dive into this component, you can see that all the connection information is already driven from the metadata already, as well as the Salesforce query that is used to retrieve the information from Salesforce already predefined into the connector. But you can also use a manual override of the SOQL or the Salesforce query that's used to retrieve the information. Now, the same concept actually can be used to upload or export data into Salesforce or into my account module. For example, let's say I want to read data from an Excel file and actually upload my accounts. So I'm going to drag and drop my account module again. This time I'm going to choose the Salesforce output component. And again, to take a deep dive into this component, you can see the connection information again is driven from the metadata. I can also do all my basic Salesforce operation, which is insert, update, delete, as well as upsert. I can write into any of the predefined modules or any of the custom modules that I might have, but here I'm just going to choose account and make sure that all my columns that I want to write is there. Now, to bring data from Excel, I'm going to use my Excel metadata that I've already imported into Talend, drag and drop that into my job. Now I'm going to use another component we have for mapping data called tmap. I'm going to place that into my job, create my connections, And now I'm going to go into my TMap to define my mapping. I can use the auto map feature to map my Excel side into my Salesforce side on the output. And you can see all the columns are getting mapped automatically. Any of the columns that don't get mapped, I can just map them manually. So address to address, the billing address, city to billing city, state to billing state, zip code to zip code, and country to country. Now again, for those of you who know Talend, you know that you can do any sort of transformations here. So for example, if I want to uppercase my street addresses, or maybe I want to set my types into a fixed type demo data. You can also use the TMap to do any complex transformations or validations. Here, let's do a quick sample, I guess. I want to make sure that my zip codes actually match the city and state that I have. So I'm going to actually use a table that I have inside my MySQL database that has all the US cities and zip codes. I'm going to map that into my TMap as well. Go into my TMap. I'm going to define a relationship between my zip codes in Excel and the zip codes in the database table. Now that the relationship is defined, I can choose the cities from the table and the states also from the table to be included in my output. Now it's pretty much done. I'm going to leave it at this. Come back to the job. Okay, let's delete the input portion and click run to run my job. You can see that all the accounts were read from Excel and outputted into the accounts module inside Salesforce. So I can come into my Salesforce actually and go into my accounts tab and check all these accounts that were uploaded. For example, to Big Data Consolidation Group. And you can see that all my addresses are uppercase and the zip codes match the correct city and state. Now to finish the demo, I'm going to come back to Talend and actually show you another job that I've already made. In this job, I'm using another component, which is my actually Salesforce get updated component to get any newly updated records from Salesforce and actually export that out or synchronize that out to my MySQL table. You see that this component reads any changed data and it's going to map that into my MySQL account table. Now this job kind of runs in the back continuously and makes sure that all the data is synchronized, so I'm going to let it run in the back and do its job. Now I'm going to come back to my Salesforce here and let's actually edit this record. I'm going to just add an imaginary phone number and hit save. Now you can see actually that record was updated. Let's go into my MySQL. We'll look at our accounts table and you can see that that record or the phone number is updated here. Now this concludes my demo today. For any more information about our Salesforce integration, please feel free to go to our website. Thank you.